treat your marriage like a business. So when I pitched this idea to my wife, she was not on board with it. And the reason that I even brought this idea up is that I had a business. She was in her W-2 job. And one of the things that really was valuable in my business was that we had consistent communication cycles. We had consistent expectations and we had shared goals. And so I was like, wow, like those things seem like they could actually transfer over to a marriage. And so when I first pitched it, I got a lot of pushback, a lot of resistance. Like love can't be, in a meeting. Like that gets rid of all the fun and the spontaneity and all the butterfly feelings that go along with this idea of love. And it took a while, but once I shared the vision, which I'm going to share with you today, of why the marriage meeting is so important, that single meeting has completely transformed my marriage. And it's actually the foundation of why our relationship, it has such strong roots, is because we have consistent communication cycles and we have shared visions and we have shared goals. So that's what this marriage meeting is for. It's an opportunity for you to have a meeting every single week that allows you to get on the same page. So I'll give you a little strategy on exactly like what this marriage meeting can look like. But before I do, I think it's important to understand that like what it starts with is not going to be what it looks like in a month, a year, a decade. And so the strategy is going to change as your goals and as you and your spouse's relationship as it evolves and changes as well. But the most important thing is just the consistency of it. We have never missed this marriage meeting since we started it, and we started it before we were even married. So if you're not married, it's okay, you can still do this. And now me and my wife have been together for almost 10 years. And I can tell you right now that this has been so valuable, and it has sparked additional meetings, like not less. Now we meet more often because we have seen the value in this, and so we realized that, well, if we just did one marriage meeting, like what if we actually did multiple of these throughout the week? And now we have 5 separate meetings that we have throughout the week. They're short, they're not long. The frequency is more important than the quantity of them. But if you want to have a better relationship with somebody, ask yourself this question: do you think you should communicate less with them, or you should communicate more with them? And we took that logical reasoning and said, let's communicate more. So what this marriage meeting started out with us was on the schedule, and it was an hour long, and it was an opportunity to go through a list of questions. So I'm actually going to share these list of questions with you to give you a framework that you can start with. So here was the structure and the framework for this meeting. So the first thing that we did is we're like, what is your priority this week? And so let's say we have 100 marbles, and all these marbles are analogous to the amount of attention we have. And we have 3 main categories. We have our business, we have our family, and we have our health. It's great to think about this, that I want to put 100 marbles on health, I want to put 100 marbles on business, I want to put 100 marbles on family. That's the way we believe things should be. But the reality is we have this little thing called math, and we only have 100 marbles. We have to allocate those marbles to these specific categories. So you must actually prioritize. And the next thing we asked was, what is on the calendar that we should both be aware of? Outline clear events that are on the calendar. And if there's not something on there, put it on there. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot, this is not on there. And that way you guys are on the same page. At least we have a general idea of like what it looks like right now. It's easier to handle the change in the flux of the schedule. Next thing that we used to ask each other is, where do you need support at? If you're the spouse, you tell them. And vice versa. If your spouse tells you what they need help with, listen and find a way to help them. Sometimes they don't even know what they need because they're so in the thick of the things that if you just pay attention, you can see what they need. By paying attention, you can help them. Now, next half is where we get a little bit uncomfortable. We get a little bit of accountability. And with accountability, there comes these feelings inside of us of we're disappointed, as our self-worth being attacked. And so this next half of our marriage meeting, we did a marriage review. And so we started out where we rated ourselves. So this is how we put data to a marriage, is we rank ourselves based on these 5 questions. The first question that we asked ourselves is, how am I doing on a scale from 1 to 10 overall as a spouse? Second question, did we have enough quality sex this week? The next question we asked is like, do we spend enough quality time together? Do you feel loved and supported? And then the last question is, what is one thing that I can do this week to raise my score? And so we started out by doing this on ourselves. We would rank ourselves. And then the second piece of this, we would actually rank the other person. And this is where it took a lot of courage, and it took a lot of faith, and it also took a lot of trust in each other to hear that feedback. Because there's only one answer that is going to give you the satisfaction of knowing that you were perfect, which is a 10. And how many times we give each other 10s? I don't know. 0 times. Right? There's always room for improvement. Those conversations, while uncomfortable, while it took a lot of courage on both sides to be able to say it and then be able to receive it, the one thing that made it worth it is understanding that we're on the same team. Our intentions are that we want to strengthen our relationship. We're not trying to nitpick. We're not trying to point fingers. We're not trying to beat the person down. we're trying to make our relationship stronger. Because when we are stronger independently, we are even stronger together. And so if this is something that you have thought about, or you have heard of, or maybe this is the first time you're hearing of it, it will change your life. And full transparency, it's hard, but I'm telling you it's worth it. And so you can either do the hard now and you can have an amazing relationship forever, or you can skip having the hard conversations and you end up with a really hard relationship in the end, and maybe not even a relationship, right? So if you got value from this, please let me know, and I can make a second video on this. I can kind of share with you guys our marriage meeting looks like today, and share with you how it's evolved throughout the years. Hope you get value from this, and if you do, let me know. All right.